Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In the name of Allah, the gracious, ever merciful. Ladies and gents, very good morning to you. Welcome to the 151st birthday of our beautiful country, Canada. This event, like every year, is organized by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community in Calgary. In 2016, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at in Canada celebrated its 50 years of its establishment. Since its inception, the Ahmadiyya community has been actively involved in various aspects of society, promoting its motto, love for all, hatred for none. The community has launched various public initiatives across Canada to work with people from all walks of life. It has partnered with faith and community leaders alike, all the while abiding by the instructions of the Holy Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, may peace and blessings be on him. That loyalty to country is a part of faith. Members of the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at have also donated thousands of units of blood to Canadian Red Cross and raised millions of dollars for Canada-based charities. Without any further delay, following the Islamic tradition, we would start our program with a recitation of Holy Quran. It will be followed by English and French translation. Aqib Mansoor would come up and read the Holy Quran, and it will be followed by Hakim, who would be presenting a French translation, and then it will be Asfar Anjum with English translation. May I request these gentlemen to come as ordered.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها الذين آمنوا أطيعوا الله وأطيعوا الرسول وأولي الأمر منكم فإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله واليوم الآخر ذلك خير وأحسن تأويلا.
French translation, Hakim Mahmoud.
Assalamu alaikum. Que la paix soit sur toi. Je vais maintenant vous présenter la traduction française du verset récité. Au nom d'Allah, le gracieux, le miséricordieux. Ô vous qui croyez, obéissez à Allah et à son messager et à ceux qui ont de l'autorité sur vous et si vous êtes en litige sur n'importe quelle question, référez-la à Allah et à son messager. Si vous croyez en Allah et à jour dernier, c'est en fin de compte mieux et plus louable. Jazakallah.
As from Mansoor?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I shall now present the English translation of the verse just recited. This is verse 60 from chapter 4 of the Holy Quran. I seek refuge with Allah from Satan the rejecter. In the name of Allah, the gracious, the merciful. O ye who believe, obey Allah and obey His messenger, and those who are in authority among you. And if you differ in anything among yourselves, refer it to Allah and His messenger if you are believers in Allah and the last day. That is best and most commendable in the end.
Thank you. Now, the flag hoisting. May I please request everyone to stand up, because we'll also be singing O Canada as soon as these lovely kids standing in front will start singing. And I'd like to thank Mr. Pat Kelly, who's the MP, for raising the Canadian flag, Minister Irfan Sabir, who raised the provincial flag, and Majid Ahmed, who raised the City of Calgary flag, who's the president of the Ahmadiyya community in Calgary, and representing our national headquarter is Chaudhry Abdul Bari. May I please request the president of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community Calgary chapter to please come up and say some welcome remarks.
Assalamu alaikum. May peace and blessing of Allah be upon you all. This is a moment of great pleasure for Ahmadiyya Muslim community to welcome all our guests here to celebrate Canada Day. As this was earlier mentioned, that as a Muslim, we are bound to love our country. Our Holy Prophet, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, he said, love of your land is part of your faith. So therefore, all of us should celebrate in such a way that we make a pledge that we will take all opportunities to serve this beautiful land which has given us refuge. This beautiful country has given us lot which we cannot count. And on top of everything is that we have all kinds of equal rights in this beautiful country. We can practice our religion without any problem, and we can prosper in this beautiful country as much as we can. So we should be thankful to Almighty Allah for all these bounties which He is showering us while we are residing in this beautiful country. So I welcome you again, and I hope and pray that every one of us will enjoy today, and at the same time I will remind that this celebration should not be just a celebration to show off, but this celebration should be to change our lives and to make a covenant that we will make all kinds of sacrifices for this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mir Sahib. You can all agree that the voices that we can hear in this great ground today is all love for all, hatred for none. We've all come together to celebrate this day. May I please request Pat Kelly, as Member of Parliament, to please come up on the stage and say a few words.
Well, it's great to be back here again today, and happy Canada Day to all. Thank you very much to all the organizers that helped make this day possible. It's a fantastic celebration of Canada. Last year, it was the 150th anniversary of our country, and here we are 1 year later, 151 years. And I always like on Canada Day to take a moment and think about why we celebrate our country on July 1st. And the reason we do is that is the day that it began. It's the day that the existing Canada East, Canada West, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick all came together to form a country, and to form a country that recognized many of the problems that existed, whether it was security, trade, all of these kinds of things of the day, but also to structure a country that would respect the existing linguistic, cultural, and religious distinctions that existed in the country at the time, and to create a country that could welcome the world here. And 151 years later, what an incredible success that project has been. Also this year, I'd like to take a moment. I'm pleased to offer greetings from the Honourable Andrew Scheer, Leader of the Opposition. And from Andrew, I'm delighted to extend my warmest personal greetings to everyone attending the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at Canada Day celebration. Today, in communities across the country, we honor our proud history, give thanks for our peaceful present, and celebrate our bright future. We're privileged to live in the best country in the world, a federation bound by liberty, justice, compassion, and freedom. In the 151 years since Canada has been a bastion of moral conviction on the world stage and a place of boundless opportunity for those who are blessed to call it home. As an important part of the Canadian family, I know Canada's Ahmadiyya Muslim community will proudly partake in the celebration. On this day, we must honor our veterans, the women and men of the Canadian Armed Forces, as well as their families. They are all Canadian heroes. We will always be grateful to them for their sacrifices, for their bravery in the most dangerous parts of the world, and for upholding the safety and security we all enjoy every day. As Canadians, we also have a duty to stand up for our values when they are threatened, both at home and abroad. Canada's Conservatives will always side with those whose basic human rights are threatened. This is Canada's hard-earned legacy for the world. So today, let us continue to share with each other that Canadian spirit of goodwill, cooperation, and friendship. On behalf of Canada's Conservative Party, please accept my best wishes for a wonderful celebration. Happy Canada Day from the Honourable Andrew Scheer, Leader of the Opposition.
Thank you, Pat. Next up is Minister Irfan Sabir, who is the Minister for Human Services, Alberta. Irfan.
Thank you, Usman, and good morning, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. Happy Canada Day. It's great to be here with all of you to celebrate 151st anniversary of Confederation, and I'm pleased to bring greetings on behalf of Premier Rachel Notley and my colleague in the government of Alberta. 1.5 century ago, the Constitution Act of 1867 was passed. And as we gather here on the traditional land of Treaty 7 First Nations, we recognize that the history of this country goes back much further for our Indigenous people who have called this land home for countless generations. And our government has made a commitment to developing a meaningful and ongoing relationship with Indigenous people in Alberta. A big part of that relationship comes from understanding Indigenous history and from learning about the diverse cultures practiced throughout our province and throughout our country. Canada Day is a time to learn, connect, and celebrate and appreciate the road traveled thus far. And we should also look forward to the future with hope at what we can accomplish together. As a nation, we have been through so much together, and we have incorporated into our Constitution one of the most progressive Charter of Rights and Freedom anywhere in the world. And we have grown in depth, breadth, and numbers by welcoming new Canadians from all across the globe. In return, Our nation has given all of us a place to thrive, where regardless of where we come from, we come together on our shared values. A place characterized by compassion and respect, a country dedicated to a system of government that ensures the democratic will of people is respected while providing safeguards for the most vulnerable among us. Canada is one of the best places in the world to live, and it's up to us to make sure Alberta and Canada as a whole continues to be the best place to live for everyone in the years ahead. This is how we show our gratitude for those who helped build Canada before us, and how we show our respect and care for those who will come after us. On Canada Day, we celebrate all that has made this nation a great place to live and dedicate ourselves to leaving it in a better place, in a bit better place than we found it. Thank you all for being here today, and thank you to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at for organizing this event every day, and I think every day it becomes better and bigger. Thank you for having us all here, and happy Canada Day to all of you.
Thank you, Minister Sabir. Next up is Rick McIver, who's the MLA. Please come up on the stage and say a few words.
Assalamu alaikum. Happy Canada Day. It's great to be here, isn't it? I love the fact that I love this event. My wife Christine and I try to make it here every year. I think we've been here for a number of years in a row because the Ahmadiyya Muslim community does a wonderful job of living out their motto, love for all, hatred for none. Everyone is welcome here, regardless of faith, creed, color, religion, any other differences you have, who you love. And I really think that that is in the true spirit and the true essence of Canada, this country that I love and that we're all here celebrating today. It's I was moved by Majid's words that we should sacrifice for Canada to make it a better country, and I have to say it reminded me of all the sacrifices of the past of men and women for 151 years and beyond that, and we've got another 151 or 300 years to keep sacrificing. So I think Majid's words, they struck an important tone, because we're not done sacrificing. And we could talk about the obvious and I think biggest sacrifices that give us this free country, those made by the men and women that serve in uniform, both internationally in the form of our military and those people that keep us safe, our police, our firefighters, our EMS and medical people. All those are sacrifices. But we as ordinary citizens can sacrifice too, just by contributing to Canada as we do, by going to work, by keeping our families healthy, by volunteering for our city, our province, and the country, and then we'll be here to celebrate for a lot longer. So it's a real honor for me, on behalf of the Progressive Conservative Party of Alberta and our leader, Jason Kenney, to say Happy Canada Day. It's an honor to be a small part of this joyous and very important celebration. Thank you.
We've just been joined by Darshan Kang, Member of Parliament. Darshan, can I please request you to come up and say a few words?
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here today to celebrate the historic day, another historic day in Canada's history. Happy Canada Day. First of all, I would like to thank Ahmadiyya Jama'at for inviting me to another great Canada Day celebration. So I hope everybody enjoys their day today. As we all know, we are a diverse nation with people from over 200 communities living in Canada and living together in peace and harmony. We celebrate the 30th anniversary of Multiculturalism Day last week. And Canada, we are fortunate to have a system where so many cultures can coincide in harmony and peace. Many countries around the world, they struggle to find this cohesion. And We always hear that multiculturalism is failing in other countries. It's not the multiculturalism failing. I think it's those countries, they are failing multiculturalism. And we live in one of the most civil, clean, free, and safe countries in the world, one in which we are blessed with beautiful green spaces, soaring landscapes, clean drinking water, and an abundance of healthy food. As Canada grows 1 year older, I'm sure that every single one of you, like me, is striving to make our city, our province, and our country better. Together we will ensure that our environment and economy and overall standard of living is the best in the world and continues to thrive so that our children, our grandchildren, enjoy the beauty and the grace of our amazing country. Let us also remember the values of openness, diversity, equality, respect for all Canadians' values. Let's keep working hard to maintain Canada's values of inclusiveness, tolerance, and equality. As the Prime Minister says, we are strong, not in spite of our differences, but because of them. Ladies and gentlemen, better is always possible, so let's continue to work hard to be better next year than this year. And thank you everybody. Happy Canada Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Member of Parliament Darshan Kang. Next up, if I can please request Mike Sheikh, who's Senator-elect, to come up on the stage and say a few words.
Distinguished guests, my fellow Canadians, Happy Canada Day! Happy Canada Day, mes amis! God keep our land glorious and free. Potriga no foyer et nos droits. On Canada Day, we celebrate our freedom, rights, responsibilities as Canadian citizens. We honor to share history, symbols, and values that define us as Canadians. All these things give us our identity and make us proud Canadian. Friends, I'm an immigrant. I came to Canada from Pakistan when I was only 24 years old. I'm very grateful for the fact that Canada is a welcoming nation. And I know that many immigrants and the children of immigrants feel the same way. I remember the sense of pride I felt when I became a Canadian citizen and officially joined the Canadian family. God bless you all. Happy Canada Day. And could I have all of you join me saying Happy Canada Day? So 1, 2, 3. Happy Canada Day!
Thank you, Mike. Next up, we have Chief Roger Chaffin, who's Calgary Police Services Chief. Chief.
Well, good morning, everybody. And on behalf of the nearly 3,000 women and men of the Calgary Police Service, I'd like to thank you for inviting us to join in your celebration today. It's so nice to see so many people here on Canada Day. This day is a very special day for our nation. It marks the day that Canada received our first constitution from Britain and thereby became our own country. That historic day allowed Canadians to start transforming our nation into the diverse, accepting, and inclusive country that it is today. At the Calgary Police Service, we believe our city's diversity is what makes us strong. When everyone feels like they belong, regardless of the differences between them and their communities, it leads to a vibrant community where people are safe and able to thrive. That's why we value our relationship with communities like Ahmadiyya Canadians. Your commitment to helping others and contributing to Calgary is in the positive ways that you do makes each and every day one that shows how you've made our nation better. Without your support, our job as police officers would be a lot more difficult, and Calgary would not be the safe city that it is today. So on behalf of all the Calgary Police Service members, I'd like to wish you all a great Canada Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We just had Chief Roger Chaffin from Calgary Police we have another chief there, Chief Lee Crowchild, who is from Tsuut'ina Nation. Chief, if I can please request you to come up and say a few words.
Tata Nastada. Ayahota. Nishkagulaga. Size Hakiche Chatanite Kazayata. My name is Chief Lee Crowchild. Somebody asked me, what does it mean to be Canadian? And I says, I have no idea, because I'm Tsuut'ina. So, I talk from that position. I'll tell you a story. My uncle, he fought in World War II. He fought with the tanks. His name was Harold. His native name was Iron Soldier, because he was with the tanks. But he fought at the landing of Normandy, on D-Day, all through the streets of France, into Italy, and finally into Germany. When he came home, he was forgotten by Canada because he was what we called a treaty Indian. But I don't know what it's like to fight in the wars. All those soldiers, they became brothers in arms. They knew, and they bled, they died together, they fought together. So even in my uncle's later years, I asked him, why did you do that? And he said, well, Canada asked me to show up. And I thought, well, actually I had nothing better to do, so I thought I'd better show up and go in there and fight. So he did. I says, well, do you ever feel like you've been left aside? And he says, some days it feels like that. But most days I am still Tsuut'ina. This is my land. And he says there's new people that are going to be coming from different countries because they'll see what we fought for. And he always says, I'm still Tsuut'ina. Be Canadian, have no idea. So as I stand here, and his words came true, I'm standing with a new group of people that until recently I never knew anything about. And as Tsuut'ina, as one of the people that's land is here, I welcome you. Because we carry in the spirit of my uncle, what it means to create real brotherhoods, real sisterhoods. Because Canada is made up of a cultural mosaic of many different people. But not too many people know how many different nations of native people there are. They think we're all one, and we're not. But we're all stewards of this land, and we will protect this land at any cost. We will survive any political party, we'll survive anything, and we'll always be here because this is our land. So with my hand I reach out to all of you and I say welcome. Welcome to the land of Tsuut'ina. And if other chiefs were here from Blackfoot or Stoney, they would say welcome to the land of the Blackfoots or the Stonies. But as I'm standing here, I'm telling you, you're welcome on my land. So now we have to work together. You have to come and visit me. Come and say, we want to learn a little bit, and maybe we can show you a couple things. This afternoon, the Thunderbird will come. And he'll come and bless the land because he needs to. So when it rains and when the lightning and thunder comes, in our cultural practices, that means blessings are coming. So I say to you all, Siaskas, thank you very much for having me. Nani asani. Hey, hey.
Thank you, Chief, for your very kind words. As you would know, that the leader of the Ahmadiyya Muslim, worldwide leader of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, has specifically instructed the Canadian Ahmadiyya Muslim community to reach out to the native tribes all across Canada. So our community has been reaching out to further know about your culture, about your traditions, so that we know that this is where we live. This makes us Canada. So next up, we have the mayor of our the greatest city and the greatest country of the world, Mayor Naheed Nanshi.
Well, hello everyone. Dadana Stada, Amba Wastich, Tansi, Buju, Okinitsgwa. I just managed to mess up about 6 different Indigenous languages all at the same time. But I love that basic, simple greeting. Greetings to all my relations. Bonjour tout le monde. Wassalamu alaikum. Namaste. It is so great to be here again in Prairie Winds Park to help you all celebrate Canada Day, La Fête du Canada. So first of all, let's hear it for the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at and the incredible work they do bringing us together here for Canada Day every year. Let's hear it for them. Of course, the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at is a really important part, not just of Northeast Calgary, but of our community doing service work, doing seva every single day. And we are so grateful and so proud to have this strong Jama'at within our midst here. You know, we're celebrating today the 151st birthday of Canada. But as Chief Crowchild has reminded us, that 151 years is a very, very, very small part of the history of this land. In fact, there have been people on this land for thousands of years. In Quranic times, there were people on this land. There have always been people here. They've been drawn here by the water. This is an arid region after all. So people have been drawn to the place where the two rivers meet, the place that the Blackfoot call Mokinstis, the elbow. One of these days, Chief, you'll have to teach me the proper Tsuut'ina pronunciation of that place. And they've been brought here in order to build community. So as we build community today, we do so in the names of the original inhabitants of this land, the Beaver people, the Tsuut'ina people, the Nitsitapi, the Blackfoot people, the Stoney people of the Nakota Nations, the Métis people, with their history on this land as well. But we remind ourselves that for the last 150 years or so, we have tried hard in this place. Despite our mistakes and our backsliding, despite sometimes our deliberate choices, we've tried hard in this place to be a beacon of light and hope in an often cold and dark and cruel world. And we said to people from every corner of this earth, come here. You're welcome here. You'll be safe here. Your children will do well here. Your grandchildren and their grandchildren will find opportunity here. And that's what I celebrate with you today on Canada Day. In a world that feels a bit scary, in a world where voices of anger and bitterness and division and hatred are growing louder and louder and louder, it's time now for us to not just hold tight to our Canadian values, but to defiantly, to powerfully, to muscularly fight for those values. To ensure that we stand on the rooftops and say to the world that here in Canada, everyone belongs. That here in Canada, we value pluralism and diversity and inclusion. We value opportunity for every single person in this community, regardless of what they look like or where they come from or how they worship or whom they love. That here we give the opportunity to every single one of us, right here, right now, to live a great Canadian life. And so, friends, today as we celebrate Canada Day, and I've been doing what I do every Canada Day. I started early this morning, and I've been crisscrossing the city. I've just come from a citizenship ceremony, and I will end the evening tonight by pushing the button to start the fireworks. And I hope that all of you will join us downtown for that and be in community together. But as we celebrate Canada Day, as we have great burgers and we watch fireworks, let's also recommit ourselves to those Canadian values. Let's recommit ourselves to those 3 things for Canada, to at least doing 3 acts of community service this year and every year to make this community better. So once again, thank you to all the volunteers, thank you to the organizers from the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at. Thank you as well, I should say, to my colleagues at the City of Calgary. You know, they never get a day off in the summer because they're busy putting these events on. So let's hear it for my hardworking colleagues at Calgary Parks, Calgary Fire, Calgary Roads, Calgary Police, and especially Calgary Recreation, who work so hard to put this stuff on for us every year. Let's hear it for them. But mostly, every one of you, let's hear it for yourselves. I'm grateful that I get to live in a Canada with every single one of you in it. Happy Canada Day, everyone. Bon fête du Canada. Oh, one other thing, before I forget, I am also particularly blessed that I get to work with a magnificent city council who work hard for you every single day. And I see my colleague, Councillor Jyoti Gondek, remarkable brand new councillor. Let's hear it for Jyoti. And for all the other politicians who are here as well, thank you all for your service. Happy Canada Day. Bon fête du Canada.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce Jyoti myself, but thank you, Mayor, for doing that. Next up, we have Jyoti Gondak from Ward 3. We need a round of applause for her. She's new on the council, and she's a friend of the community. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and I have the great pleasure of following up the Mayor's comments. As you all know, he's been recognized globally as being an incredible leader, and I have the good fortune of working with him and my colleagues every day at Council. So I don't have much to add other than Salam Alaikum, Sat Sri Akal, Namaste, hello everybody, Happy Canada Day. I was not born in Canada, but I was raised here from the time I was 4 years old. My parents made a decision to move to Winnipeg, Manitoba, of all places, from London, England, and it's a decision that they have never regretted, and I'm thankful every single day that they made that choice. I'm proud to be a chosen Canadian, and on a day like this, it's important for all of us to come together, whether we were born here or chose to come here, and be grateful for what we have in making this our life and our home. So thank you everybody for coming. Thank you to the Ahmadiyya Muslim Jama'at for hosting this. I love your outfits, gang. I'm going to get together with you next year so I can look that good. Everyone have a wonderful Canada Day.
Jyoti, thank you very much. Now, we're all here because Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat organized this event. Now, Ahmadiyya Muslim Jamaat also has a mosque that's behind us here, and you'll have a great opportunity to visit the mosque today. There is mosque tour that's organized, so please feel free to identify yourself if you're interested in going to this lovely tour, and you would love it. Because the leader of the Ahmadiyya Muslim, worldwide leader of the Ahmadiyya Muslim community, Hazrat Mirza Masroor Ahmad, when he opened this mosque, he openly invited people from every faith to come and attend this mosque, because this belongs to the community. Next up, we have Prasad Panda, who's an MLA, to please come up and say a few words. Prasad.
Thank you. Happy Canada Day, everyone. Happy to be here with my colleague Rick McIver and Irfan Shabir, my provincial colleagues and all levels of government here. It's great to celebrate 151 years of Confederation, and I'm very happy to live in a country that is so prosperous. But my only concern is we can't take our prosperity for granted. Without developing our resources, particularly energy resources, and we have to find markets outside of USA, and it took 151 years to realize that, and the parties that oppose pipelines and the activists, I hope they understand that we are just one tweet away from President Trump before he says he cancels permissions for the approved pipelines, or he subject our exports to border tax. So that's a great concern I have while we celebrate on 151 years. But I still believe Canada's best days are ahead of us, and I hope we all work together and get our act together and bring our resources to the world market. Thank you, and happy Canada Day. I would like to thank Ahmadiyya Muslim community for their service in building a great Calgary, Alberta, and Canada. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Panda. Thank you for attending it once again. We have many distinguished guests here. I would not be able to take all their names, but I'd like to specifically recognize the Canadian Armed Forces here, and we have Captain Charan Kamal Singh Dullat. Can you please stand up and be recognized? Thank you very much for making sure that we're all safe. We also have various candidates who are taking part in the upcoming provincial elections. They're all here to spend time with you to understand your needs. So please feel free to mingle with them and to find out what their aspirations are and how they can be a great asset to the community. We also have Ratan Singh Parmar, who's from Ex-Servicemen Immigrant Association. Mr. Parmar, thank you for all the work that you do in the community. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see on your left-hand side there is a huge lineup for the barbecue. You will be joining that very soon. Thank you very much for attending this. And we have now, the next part is where we request from the national headquarters of the Ahmadiyya community to come up and say a few words and lead us into silent prayer to end this part of the session. May I please request Abdul Bari Chaudhry, please.
Thank you very much, Usman Sahib. Happy Canada Day to everyone. On behalf of Ahmadiyya Muslim community, I would like to thank everyone to joining us in the celebration today on the 151st anniversary of our beloved country. 44 years ago, I made this great country my home in search of hope and opportunity, which is the common thread that binds so many of us who call this country home. But our history is certainly not without fault. No nation can claim that it isn't. But that differentiates the people of this country. What makes us unique is that we can acknowledge those mistakes and take steps to reconcile them. Over the past several years, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has strengthened its relation with the First Nation of the country, the original inhabitant and steward of this land, and we look forward to further strengthening those relations. Please join me in silent prayer and let hope that we can all continue striving together as friends and neighbors to make this country greater, and may we continue that pursuit for the principle of peace, justice, and equality. Please join me in silent prayer. It will be about 30 seconds, and you can pray by your own way. And at the end, I will raise a slogan. I will say, long live, and you should say Canada. Then I will say Canada, and you should say Zindabad at the end. Let's join me, please, in silent prayer. Ameen. Long live, long live, long live Canada, Canada, Canada. Allah bless you all. Thank you.